We are recording 6:04.
Yeah.
Department of Public Works Board of Commissioners meeting. March 12th. Is there anyone who'd like to speak in the public forum?
Guess not.
We have the meeting minutes from February 12th. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'll second it.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Environmental Partners.
I told him 6:15.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
All right, we'll
So
skip.
move on.
They're not out there.
Yeah. Keep moving.
I taped that door open, Bruce, so they could come in.
That's right. I forgot I had that from there.
Take good security.
Abatements. So we have one trash abatement, 870 Temple Street. New development under construction will not have trash.
870.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the abatement as
Yes, the
noted
Sorry, for $360.
for $360.
We have a motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Job postings. Dave, this is you.
Yeah, so I posted the 3 jobs like from the last commission's meeting, so I got a letter of interest. One for each of the job postings. I got one letter of interest.
Okay.
You should have in front of you. I can read them off if you want, or
We got it.
the pipe layer one, Tim DeCudo put in for it. He's been with us for like a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
He's a good worker.
It's been 3
And
years.
then the other one, the heavy equipment operator one, Jerry Reardon put in for it. He's only been with us for a year. He was just made permanent, but he does have his 2A, 1C hydraulics license. He has been operating equipment with us. And the other one is the wastewater collection systems class 1 operator. That was the letter we got from Rob. I got the letter just from Rob Veloso. He completed both courses in Sacramento, California State University for the systems.
Yeah.
He completed all the courses.
What's it? All online, right?
Yeah, that one's online.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, good.
Good.
Everything. No red flags here, right?
Nope.
Yep.
Not at all.
So there's only one posted for, put in for each job.
Yes. Yep.
So I guess,
That worked out good, huh?
yeah, that worked out good. So I guess we leave that on your shoulders. It's going to be a tough decision.
I'm not sure, but
We just got to approve it.
Yeah, we just got to prove it. Yeah.
Motion to approve these as read and accepted.
I'll second that.
Okay. Yep. Motion for.
Let me ask,
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Any discussion?
Sorry, just
Yeah, go
quick, anything vacant?
Discussion, yeah.
Let's leave anything.
no, everything's full.
Okay.
These were really open positions from other past employees that have left.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we're just
Okay.
filling
Yep.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and obviously
Somebody
you go.
somewhere.
Last month.
moves them up,
Moves
maybe
them
gets
up.
them a little bit more money,
Yep.
all that.
That's
Yep.
it. That's it. Pretty easy.
All right.
Okay, so we have motion second. All
Second, yeah.
in favor?
Second it.
Aye.
Aye.
We'll skip over the executive session. We'll take that. Probably going to do that at the end because you have to leave. Yes, because she's part of the union.
that. Oh,
So
yeah.
they'll make it easy. We'll
Oh,
just
that's right.
and we'll do it. We'll only return to adjourn the
You can be on the
regular
other side
meeting.
of the wall. You can hear right through.
Just as easy. We'll go through all our stuff
Couldn't
and
hear a thing through that wall.
just do the executive session and adjourn. So
Yep.
we'll keep meticulous notes.
Yeah.
Somebody will.
The notes are going to be we discussed.
Show us the price.
We already gave it to him.
I think did we do that last time?
Were you out? Were you sick?
Oh, you,
I think we did it last
We did it
time.
last time. But
okay. I know.
Because
I
he-
did. I
Yeah.
didn't
it was-
know you guys had discussed it last meeting.
I think we did that last
Yeah,
time.
right? We did that
Yeah,
last
that's in the notes.
Oh, yeah.
You're so resourceful.
Okay.
There's an idea. We can look at the meeting minutes we all just approved.
No, it wouldn't be in these meeting minutes.
No, we did.
It would have been less. I mean, I thought.
Oh, maybe. I'm thinking. Oh no, we don't have any special meeting minutes. I was thinking we did.
We had just had Reardon. Maybe it was one before. I remember one that we had.
There was two times ago?
Because he just went up March
Yeah, I know I signed the change
1st.
order last week.
I thought we did it pre
It was,
Piggy.
I thought it was. Yeah, he wasn't up, but he would have been up between the meetings, so we
Maybe
voted for it
Right.
just to make it easier. So at least when his date was up, he could start getting paid versus
That's what I thought.
going back retro.
Yeah.
I thought we talked about it.
Yeah, I believe we
Probably
did.
did.
Operational updates. What do you got?
So we're in the middle of starting to get into spring stuff. I don't know if we're out of the wood completely yet, snow, but it kind of looks like it. So we fared well with that. We've had one truck over at the Peak dealership for a month now, and warranty work. Just unbelievable. But the crew has been out doing some roadside trimming with the Fecon this week. Pine Street, very noticeable up by the Rotary. A couple spots on Arena Ave we're working on. We did some land clearing for the in conjunction with the OCPC. We did some land clearing at a former Bostonian shoe factory vacant lot on South Ave. So just a quick rundown on that. Town doesn't own the property. It's owned by a private party that is in arrears for many, many years, decades of taxes. The town is interested in purchasing the property, but they want to make sure that the EPA cleanup done in the mid-90s, maybe it was after that, but quite a while ago they hauled out many tons, and so another environmental firm's going to go in there and do some test boring, so they needed the brush cleared. So we went in there and spent like 4 days doing that with this environmental firm in conjunction with the town administrator. And there's an OCPC grant that's going to help pay for this study to see if it's still contaminated. So we just kind of helped them out for the week just to kind of save money on that process. So just getting geared up for the spring. The Park and Tree guys starting to do cleanups around town with all the windstorms and things like that. So
When did they street cleaning? End of April?
we will start sweeping the streets, I believe, next week. We'll start, and we typically start like in the Bayberry Road, and we just go from one end of the town. We go in and out of every street in town, and we do the whole town. It might take us, 3 weeks or so to do the whole town, but we sweep every single street in town. And we do that every spring and every fall. So
Nice.
and we'll be doing sidewalks too, because this year we did have some snowbanks on the sidewalk that left a sandy mess. So we'll be sweeping sidewalks this year. Some, and kick them off and sweep them up with the truck with the sweeper.
And we did pretty good in the sand. We got a lot left, right?
The salt.
Salt, I mean, yeah.
Well, we fill the salt after every few operations just to keep it full. So we got a 300 ton shipment after the last operation, and we haven't had to go out since. So it's pretty full. So if nothing happens, I don't have to buy any salt for the rest of the year.
Good.
And that'll last until the beginning of next year, right?
It doesn't
Yeah,
go bad.
it just sits.
Yeah.
It's a little crusty, but
Yeah.
if we have
It
time,
preserves itself, you know.
if we have some time,
with
we're
the
going
roof
to
on
build
top.
a door
It's better.
for the salt shed. It used to have a door on it.
Right.
We're probably going to go ahead and build a door on it, ourselves.
Hi.
I thought you took the old door down to refurbish it. No, that was on the salt shed, or was there ever a door on it?
There was a door on it years ago.
Okay.
It was rotted. The hinges broke. It blew. It needed to be taken down.
Oh, all right.
I was holding
I
it
wasn't
up.
sure.
So we'll put a new door on it.
There you go.
Tar?
It'll clash with the new building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break blue ones.
Dave, what do you got?
So we had a water main break on Charles Street. So we had that. We've had the guys have just been busy. We've been starting to read meters. They're actually just about done. They've actually been doing pretty good as they read the meters. They're banging on the doors. They have to get inside. Out of the 2 weeks they've been reading, we've already replaced about 14 meters. So
Nice.
this is a good part of the year because you got to bang the door and get in to read them. So we're like, if you got to get in, ask if they have time and change the meter. So they're doing that. We're doing that right now. We've had a couple issues with some of the stations. Auburn Street Station, there's a vent pipe. So when the discharge goes up, there's a vent pipe that blew. We had to have that fixed inside the pump room. And then they were working on a check valve and moving some stuff around, and one of the cables on the crane frayed and turned into a rat's nest. So I have to have the cables replaced. It's just old. It's, so
Yeah.
guys have been busy doing that. We'll be doing, hopefully starting flushing maybe next month, where it's going to get warmer. It's about a month early than we normally do. So it's really about what we got going on.
You don't have to wait for Brockton to finish before you start flushing?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we always thought we had to do that in the past, and we don't. The only thing I have to make sure is we can flush. I just call Silver Lake, make sure the levels are all right, and tell them what we're doing. And if I get the okay,
Oh,
we can
wow.
flush. But yeah, we
Nice.
don't have to wait for Brockton.
Oh, okay. What was the reason in the past? I thought they flushed all
Really
the dirty
don't know that back when Dennis
Yeah.
was here, we figured it out that we don't have to wait for Brockton.
Oh, wow.
So we can flush whenever we want.
Nice.
So
Purpose for that, Dave? Just to pressure?
it cleans all the
Those are
sediment
nice.
out of the bottom of the water mains.
Okay.
And it helps with the quality of water, especially at the far end of the distribution system. It helps bring a lot of the chlorine and stuff and everything that way. And it helps with the fire hydrants too, because we know what's working, what's not,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we just fix them as we at the end.
It's like a test.
Yep.
Yeah. Fire department, I think, requires that anyway.
I can see.
Even
why.
if you didn't, right?
Yep.
So,
Vote it
Yeah, that's good.
Bam. 7's down.
until capital committee next week.
Good.
Thursday.
it's a good thing.
Any
New business only.
Next meeting, Dave?
Dave, any
you guys.
updates on the sewage?
New business?
Oh, that's so come to find. So the car wash, they sold a lot. They're not gonna sell it.
I saw that.
Oh,
I saw
they
that.
did.
And the people
Beautiful.
that own that just sold their car wash at the corner.
Really?
Oh,
I
we're
saw
at 18 and
the-
27?
the-
Yeah, the
sale
people
sign.
who own that car wash that was going to build the one up the street across from Sweezy's, they sold that lot. So Kenny's going to build, Sweezy's going to build a kind of a 2-bay unit, kind of like Tracy White did across the street.
Yep.
He's going to build it there, and the car lot's going across the street to where the car wash was going to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw the for sale sign. I didn't know if it had to do with
Yeah, so that's $1 million.
Prestige.
Sweezy by it?
Yeah.
Prestige is
No.
fixing up that other one
I thought you said
down in East Bridgewater.
Oh,
No,
I saw
Sweezy
that
owns
Monday,
the
right?
land that the car lot's on.
Oh, right.
And there's
the
only,
Yeah.
the other guy beat him to it. They sold that other one down in East Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And I heard that's Prestige, or will be Prestige,
Yeah.
which are all over the
Yeah.
place.
So that's 1 million gallons.
We got
saved
back.
right there. So, plus if I get this get the money for doing infiltration with the manholes, I don't have it right in front of me, but that's going to save a lot right there. Even if it's 1 million gallons, but
Environmental Partners, or Apex, is here. So and you
Okay.
can, I think we'd like to do it down there at the big table, if that's okay with you guys, because they have like roll out some plant.
This salt app is what we're talking about?
This is the tip project.
Yeah.
And we're looking to get, they're just going to give an update where we are, and we need to provide the town.
We won't have to do this in a new building.
Yeah, I know. Well, we just keep Jim just did a presentation for OCPC yesterday. No, Monday. This is more like to show you plan, show you where we are. I
guys.
Hey,
How are you? Good seeing you.
Well, let's see.
just the other way around.
You want to see the instructions?
Switch to that way.
Brought the recorder. Official.
We got it the right direction now.
Yeah, now it's like, now it's.
You guys got to work upside down. How's everything? Good?
Hanging in there.
Everybody remembers James and Benny, right?
Yeah, how you doing?
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
So, we wanted to update you all on where we're at and what's next in the process. So, right now we are in the midst of the pre-25% design. So it goes pre-25, 25, 75, 100, and final. The most work is between the pre-25 and 25%. That's where a lot of this is established. And so again, we're in pre-25 at this point. So we have performed a topographic survey. This plan here of the entire project limits of South Ave, and all the information is shown with the exception of the wetland flagging, which is still to be added to this plan. So that really shed a lot of light on as far as where all the features are and what we're going to be able to fit in, and in a lot more detail than what we had originally. This cartoon up here is kind of what we would have had originally, using aerial photography, approximate at best, but all in all, it's no major surprises, thankfully. So that's a good sign,
Yep.
right? And so what we have done is we started laying out a geometry in order to understand what the impacts might be and what a potential cross section might be for the corridor, and a few things that we look out for. Obviously, right of way, staying within the right of way so that we're not on people's private property. Obstructions that sometimes extend from private property into the right of way, which all in all aren't bad here, which is a little surprising. A lot of times that's a problem where there's a lot of encroachment. So far so good. I'm not saying that there won't be some things, but it's nothing major so far. Certainly wetlands and things like that, which we know we do have some wetlands by Franklin. Watching out for the culvert that's there and elsewhere. So in the end, what we're designing here is because of the traffic volumes that travel along South Ave being not terribly high, we're able to have a vehicle lane in each direction and a bicycle lane in each direction. Section?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. So you slide down on your end a little bit. There you go. Thank you. Perfect. So we've got a travel lane in each direction, bike lane in each direction. The low traffic volume, if it is correct, which it appears to be correct, means that we do not need additional width in the roadway for a buffer. That was one thing that we had originally questioned. Topic came up again, but we're still on the mindset that we don't need the extra width, which is a good thing. So what we are looking at for a cross-section along much of the roadway would be to have sidewalks on both sides of the roadway separated by a grass strip from the roadway. And this serves a couple of purposes. First, a grass strip certainly makes it a lot more comfortable for pedestrians walking along a roadway than just being right up against the edge of the travelway. It's aesthetically more pleasing. Yes, there is a maintenance element to it. Also, a lot of areas, it's a bit barren. So on one side, we're having a slightly wider grass strip that would allow for street trees to break up.
Which is the southern side of
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at the section
on the southern side of the roadway.
Yep.
On the northern side of the roadway, we have a narrower grass strip. This two, provides a separation, pedestrian from motorists, but it also serves another purpose. The utility poles that are along the corridor would be relocated, and what we would like to do is relocate those utility poles within that grass strip. This helps the town because otherwise Mass DOT will require that the utility poles be moved to behind the sidewalk. And by moving it to behind the sidewalk, you have to have a certain clearance of permanent aerial easements. So trying to avoid that along the entire northern edge of the road. So by putting the overhead wires over here, it gets it away from the property line, minimizes those easements because again, town is responsible for right of way. So we want to try to minimize that. But all in all reality, it's nice that I have a grass strip there anyway too. So,
So they won't relocate the poles if we don't make the grass strip, or
they will relocate the poles to the back edge of sidewalk, and
they won't move them forward.
Well,
If they'll
move it
say
anywhere.
this was just all sidewalk, and we say, hey, we still want the pole out there.
If that was all sidewalk, they would say, we don't want a sidewalk, we don't want a utility pole in your sidewalk.
Okay.
Move it to the back edge of
this
sidewalk.
is what
Okay.
they
That-
must not prefer.
They keep changing the rules. This is a new thing.
Yeah.
Somewhat new.
They would
In the
prefer
past,
not to have that pole in the sidewalk.
They don't want it, even if,
Within the sidewalk.
up until like a year, 2 years ago, they would allow the utility pole in the sidewalk as long as you're providing the ADA and PROAG clearance requirements. Now it's no, we don't want it in the sidewalk at all. Move it outside the sidewalk. I don't care how much it costs and how many utility poles you impact.
Okay.
So that's what we're kind of up against. So hence the grass strip.
Okay.
Okay.
Getting National Grid on board is the tough part.
What's that?
Getting National Grid on board, you probably have to get like 3 years notice.
Yeah, but you know what? We're going to have to move those poles anyway.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Some
but yes.
location closer to the curb sign, some is like two to the back, so we try to unify it. So make sure everything's.
But Mass DOT also gives incentives to.
Yeah, still,
Get
Mass
them
will
to
pay
do
for
it.
it. Yeah, Mass will
It's
pay for it.
much-
If you do it quicker, well,
Yeah.
It's not going to be like Route 139 in Marshfield.
Yeah.
If they don't do it in a certain time, they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they get-
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
If they get you
the
to
barrels
make
in the
100%.
road. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good times.
Barrels on the pole.
Okay. So, because I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I'm okay if we get 4.5, 5 feet.
Yes,
we can
I
put
know.
trees, but
I know.
I never liked having that because it just
3
turns
foot
to,
grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, this way I try to.
I know.
But
this
I-
doesn't grow.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I try to get as much as possible within the layout. That's why, we went out the layout is 50 foot. So why not, with this cross section, we are about 49 and a half feet.
Okay.
So we try to maximize it. So try to get most of the grass
And
there.
if so the right of way will be kind of close to this
To the
proposed back edge,
backside,
very
yeah.
close. So if you have a utility pole here, you're clearing that 5 foot buffer from the center pole, as opposed to if you put the
Post
pole, if the sidewalk shifted over and put the utility pole here, aerial infringement all the way throughout your corridor. You know, so
And then
now you're
everything
dealing with
had to be
people's
to
trees
appraise
or-
and that
everything.
and the
Compensation for that.
for right of way, then you're looking at compensation for all those abutters and what's it worth and
Yeah.
that process. It's just
Yeah, that's how we try
Yeah.
to.
That's
And also more safer too for the pressure, more comfortable, like Jim said.
it really is. It really is better. I know it's a
Yeah.
maintenance thing.
Yeah.
I know if
And
it's
especially near the school, elementary school, so they have a little buffer for
it
that.
usually
It'll be
depends on the
better.
abutter who's directly in front of it and if they're going to take care of it, right?
Yeah.
So
Most of them.
yeah. Could only do AstroTurf or whatever. That would be great, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, so that is in general what the cross section looks like. Now, if we were to perhaps shift down maybe to the
center island.
Pleasant Street. Oh, do you have a zoom? A close up. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Close up of the intersection.
There it is.
There we
Okay.
go. Here's a man.
Got two.
Oh, then he comes prepared.
Okay.
So
Yep.
what we have is, let me just explain here. I know this is not colored, but right now the existing roadway is really wide down here, as you know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's this wide. So as a result, you've got a crosswalk that's what 110 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. So, anyways, we have a tremendously, ridiculously wide roadway that doesn't have to be. And so what we're able to do is we're able to shift the edge of road over significantly to better align with cross-moving traffic. Okay. And with that, we still have to accommodate right turns coming down here, right? They used to loop around, make that sharp left, right, look over your left shoulder, So we have to make that maneuver, but we have so much real estate in here. The way it is looking right now, we're not even, there's that small little parking lot adjacent to the building. That's over here. We're actually adding space
To their property.
there's that much land on this corner.
Wow. He closed.
Yeah. So what's that?
He's closed now.
Yeah. He was,
He was in here last week.
Yeah.
The new buyer.
Right.
Oh, is he?
So what we would.
He's not sure yet. No, he wasn't saying.
Yeah.
So they probably welcome the additional.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how they wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
I showed him this, and he liked
Good.
I showed him that.
Yeah. This is very similar.
Version of that. I mean, the same layout, but this
Yeah,
is
that's-
smaller color.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we would be doing is retaining their parking area to the side and providing access to the other businesses that way. Now, as far as the treatment of this intersection as a whole, Mass DOT is going to want us to take a look at that, close look at that, which we have done, as far as what the options are for control. So, first off, a two-way stop control is, always kind of the go-to, which you all had years ago, and you had tons of accidents, and then you switched it to a four-way stop control, and the crashes show to drop big time. Oh, yeah. So that's great. So I don't think we want to go back to a two-way stop control.
No.
And then, so we also did a traffic signal warrant to see if traffic signals could go in here according to the Federal Highway Administration, and they cannot. They do not pass the traffic signal warrants based on what we've done so far. Massachusetts requires an 8-hour warrant that we're looking at 8 hours of traffic volumes, not just 1 hour in the day. They want to make it based on 8. Now there are some changes having to do with traffic signal warrants at the federal highway level, but they haven't necessarily been changed yet at the state level. So they're still going by the old rules, and so signals are not warranted here.
So they figure there's not enough traffic there during the course of 8 hours.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Which we look at that as a good thing, right? We don't.
Each hour
Okay.
for 8 hours. Yeah, they're looking at a
Interesting.
volume for each one of those hours. There are other traffic signal warrants, 4-hour warrants, 2-hour warrants, 1-hour warrant, pedestrian warrant, things like that. But the state of Massachusetts has always required, well, I shouldn't say always, has required the 8-hour warrant to be passed, and this is not met. So signals are
I
out.
didn't know that.
Now, Mass DOT is loving their roundabouts these days, right? And so we love roundabouts too.
No.
But not here. But they're going to make us look at a roundabout. And so, I mean, you can look right here by the building corner. It's not going to fit.
Yeah.
You also got the culvert over here somewhere here.
Right.
So that's not going to
You
fit.
don't have the space.
Good.
Right here, you don't have the space.
It would be impossible to fit.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
and right away.
Maybe egg shape. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm only joking.
There is some like
don't joke.
Don't joke.
Yeah,
We're doing a project for.
I have one.
We're doing a project for.
I have one that looks
Oh
like
yeah,
an
it's like a
I was only
peanut
kidding.
runabout.
We're doing a project for the state in Brockton. You've probably driven through it before. It's right on 123
123
off of Route 24 heading towards Stonehill College, and it screams traffic signal. I mean, it's already signalized. It should be a signal. They're forcing us to evaluate peanut roundabouts of varying sizes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just like
And talking about taking buildings down for it. So
No.
Whoa.
yeah,
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
it's reached a whole different
mandate-
level.
Can they mandate?
I can't imagine why they would.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be.
Good.
I mean, there's
It's
more
a bit much.
Yeah,
culvert
it's big time.
and-
River.
Big time.
Yeah, there's a culvert in there,
Yeah.
especially that culvert is a little. pretty sensitive area. So, but
And we,
I can say
I-
never.
I will-
but
On that one?
they-
I don't
I
know.
will-
It goes from here over to
that.
I
here.
thought it was
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
it's
there's a
actually,
bridge
yeah.
apartment
I
there.
didn't know.
So.
We'll find the beetle that.
Actually comes from up
Yes.
I think because of
Special turtle or something.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's further up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will say that we have met with Mass DOT pretty regularly on this project, and
Yeah.
even from the very beginning, talking about different things, including this intersection, and giving the same story. And actually, just
Yesterday.
was that yesterday?
Yesterday. Yeah, we had a meeting with OCPC.
We presented to OCPC and Mass DOT on the project, kind of introducing them to the project, its many merits, and they loved the project. They articulated how many boxes it checks off. You know, hey, by the way, Whitman hasn't gotten tip funding before. Nudge, nudge. You know, so like, I think they really are liking it a lot. One of the things we did talk about was this intersection, and again, Mass DOT folks were on the phone and explaining everything to them, and got you know, a lot of head nods. So far so good.
Great.
There was
Yeah.
even one suggestion that we extend the project up to the intersection of South Ave and Broad. You know, one
Yeah.
of the MassDOT personnel.
The MassDOT?
was
Yeah,
saying,
one of the first.
Yeah.
What
Why
about
don't you
this
just extend
intersection
it all the
up
way
here?
up?
All the way to the end.
So
Which
we
Yeah.
you know, and we had looked at that before,
Mm-hmm.
and we
That
had
would
said,
be
boy,
nice.
wouldn't that be nice?
Wow.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Our concern was,
Blake and Dyer or
our concern was cost.
Yeah.
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 When we get the
Yeah.
project too big, it's going to cost so much that we want it to be competitive to get the tip funding. We don't want to ask for too much that we're not going to get anything. And so, in the end, that's kind of what was concluded in the conversation. When they brought it up, I said, so would you all be able
Yeah.
to support
would be
extending it? It would be great to include that. I mean, yeah, it's a deficient intersection. Look at it. Oh, street view. Oh, terrible. Yeah. Oh,
Five
but
Yeah, it's
do
like
you think
5
you'll be able
lanes.
to accept the dollar figure with that and everything? And then they're like, oh wait, yeah, no, probably not. That probably
Yeah.
There were less head nods at that point.
yeah, that's definitely less head nods. There are head nods about adding it, and then when we spoke about would you be able to support it financially, it was like
stopped.
they
And then
just stopped suddenly.
Yeah.
So
Hey, let's.
We could deal with that intersection sometime.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I was telling Bruce about this as well. That intersection,
Somewhere.
if that were to be designed by
Lake.
Mass DOT
Oh, okay.
standards,
Up there. Yeah.
I'd be afraid to see what they would want to see there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so
There's a rotary.
Yeah, definitely.
only with the roundabout. And by the
Yeah.
way, with the roundabout, they're going to want to see a shared use path around the roundabout.
Yeah, so it's
So
getting bigger
because
and
we're
bigger.
doing that in Abington, Chestnut, Hancock.
Oh, yes.
Yep. That's a great intersection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work. I used to work
Yes.
in the town of Abington, so
Oh
There's
yeah,
going to be a lot of regrading.
yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of
Utilities.
water mains and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we
Yes, we
replaced
are.
the entire water main along that
Oh, yeah.
intersection. The entire water
That's
main
a
was
bad
that park
intersection.
I used to be. I was a police officer in Abington as well. When we was an accident there,
I
he
grew
knew-
up in Abington.
He knew
so
it was bad.
Yeah,
It's awful.
Oh, yeah.
they're
Like-
awful.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Somebody
we are
died
putting
not
a
that long
roundabout
ago
there.
there.
You are.
Yeah, we are putting a
Yeah.
roundabout there. We have to do some
Yeah.
great changes in there.
Yeah,
so.
just
Not
you know,
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
we're cutting over here. We're filling over there. Or
So yeah, try to balance it up because yeah.
Big
I was
area.
wondering, so these here are the possibility of designing like not speed bumps, but there's
The
raised
areas.
I like
raised
that.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tables for the.
Yeah, so you know
Yeah.
like you get the idea that you're coming into an area, a busy
Special
area, so
area, yeah.
it could have that same treatment that we did on the crosswalks in Whitman Center or something like that.
Exactly. the
Yeah,
imprint.
or just the imprint, just a
Yeah,
extra payment.
Because
Yeah.
as you're moving along South Ave, you don't realize that this area is kind of special with the train station and what potentially development in the area, shops, whatever.
When you said raised areas, Bruce, I was thinking like over at Costco, with a parking lot there. It's a wide, I think it's about 8 feet wide. No, I mean 4 feet wide. With what you go over, it's a gradual.
Like
It's
yeah.
grad, yeah.
Yeah.
So a raised table intersection brings the roadway, typically it brings the roadway up to the height of the sidewalk, so it brings
Yeah.
it up 6 inches. And there's a transition.
Yeah, so which is like
the transition.
This is kind of where the transition.
Right, yeah.
This
It's
is
not
kind
a
of the
speed
transition
bump or
up,
a speed
No.
bump.
transition up.
It's
It is.
much
So
more
this is in the
gradual,
middle,
but
yeah.
it's like that. Oh,
Sidewalk
what was
level.
that? You know?
Yeah, it kind of
you
gets
know,
your attention.
it gets
so you
your
say,
attention.
okay, yeah.
And then if you add textured pavement in the middle, all the better. Like, whoa, okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna hit the
you
brakes.
see it.
You know,
Yeah, you slow down.
yeah, you slow down.
We're doing it a lot now that they have the side street is a raised table.
Oh yeah, something.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
Only-
so you don't
only
have all the
side
wheelchair ramp down
Yeah.
across, back
Yeah.
up. It's all
Yes.
staying.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the
If you
crosswalk
go-
would be included.
Right.
Right.
But if you're bringing the whole road up, then you need like bollards and all that on this side.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
because we need protection for
Need
the
protection for the
pedestrians.
pedestrians.
Yes. Yeah, typically you would
I'm not
have
against it. I
bollards.
mean, I think
You
know,
do
they make
bollards.
sense.
Sometimes you might do raised granite planter if
Planters,
there's
yeah.
if there's space. Yeah, probably bollards would probably fit there better.
is there room at Rayner for left turn lane coming this way?
Good
Probably
question.
not.
If there's room for
left-
what?
A
I think a left turn
Oh,
lane.
an exclusive left turn lane?
Left
Yeah, I
turn
know.
lane, yeah.
That's right.
It's. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of people take a left going up
Sure.
Rayner.
Listen, I like shooting down this way to go home.
Yeah, well, guess what?
A lot of people, and then people just pass from the right. They
Yeah.
cross the white.
Way, yeah.
You know, you're not going to stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you know that
I tell you
becomes.
who doesn't like enjoy it. The people come in here and these people just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
The double yield with no.
Didn't you make that?
It's a double yield. We have a yield time going both ways.
yeah, so
It just the one going this way is 50 feet behind you.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna have his own
You've already
private
passed it
driveway.
before you get up to
Well, there's a driveway that goes into the old Ford dealership. And you,
Yeah.
So I'm assuming no grass up through here, right, in the business area.
I'm not
There's
sure, but
no-
there's a curb
Oh,
cut.
Yeah.
So that guy would be able to use
I
it.
used to jump
Probably
over
not.
the
I
curb.
mean,
So they
because
would
we
still
don't, right now,
utilize
it's
that,
just saying
so
there's
they
like
would have
a
an
sidewalks
entrance
near
from this
wider
way.
than
They put
5 feet,
bollards
so probably
across
we
there
want to
now.
kind of keep it like that.
Yeah.
So probably
Yeah.
no, we're
Good
not
for
gonna
him.
have
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Like
good.
I said, it's tough enough in front of people's houses.
It's
Yeah.
pretty narrow.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know.
we can't think of if there's a room we may do like a brick strip,
accent strip.
accent strip,
Accent.
just like within the intersections,
Yeah.
Washington and the other one. So yeah, I mean that might be less maintenance and everything. So
The other thing we should talk about is on-street parking. Right now, it's not really formal. I it doesn't say that you can't park there, right? But we have identified a few pocket areas where we would have room for a few parking spaces. So that may or may not be provided. You know, if you don't want the parking in those areas, we can just keep it all sidewalk. You know, like for instance, over here, there's a ton of space.
Yeah.
This is over where
Right. Park, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the roadway just
Yeah.
flares
Just
flares out
Yes, yeah.
terribly wide. So if you wanted to have parking here, we could. We don't have to.
So you had
I
it.
mean near the
You had it here.
We have
This is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, there it is.
In
Yeah.
front of the apartment buildings.
I mean, what would you park there for?
Right.
Right.
I
This
wasn't
is-
really
this
in
is-
favor of the parking.
Yeah.
out
There's
that
one
way
little
on
insurance
the street.
company across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just
And they have a parking
It
lot.
depends on what
Yeah.
that could be. I mean, what, in the future, are there any plans for it, or should we just
Well,
nix
depends on
this?
What happens to that podcast school down the
Right.
road.
should have been knocked down years ago.
But there's a lot of land.
The
yeah.
The challenge, I guess, is the people on the eastern end can park in the street now. Like I said, we don't know if it is or isn't legal, but there's room there.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they can park there.
Wide.
There's
Right, but in the future, there won't be room to park there
yeah.
because you're only going to have 5
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because we have
Oh.
a bike lane. We're adding a bike lane along the
I mean,
entire corridor.
Someone can park on,
And they will have to.
but they're only going to have 5
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah,
So they
parking
physically won't
citation
be
book
able
will
to.
have to-
Right.
yeah.
That's right.
That's actually getting done now.
But I don't know.
I think the key spot where we're talking about that really needs on-street parking is in front of the barber shop because they don't have anywhere.
This is the
to park.
barber
Like,
shop.
Somebody goes there to get a haircut. they
Yeah, I
have to
think
park
it's like the
in front of
barber shop.
Right here.
Yeah,
There's
so
only
this is the
like
barber
one
shop.
there.
I mean, there's like a drive. I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of driveway around, so you might be putting like one.
So what
space-
about right in here?
Yeah, one space.
They
in
would need
here.
parking here.
Yeah.
That was a crosswalk.
There's a crosswalk that we talked about the other day. Yeah. And in some area we can
So if we got rid of the crosswalk, So Benny, if we got rid of this crosswalk and just made this area in here
Yeah.
That's my barber, so we need to.
special spot.
I mean,
Visual parking, yeah.
Reserve parking. So this is the.
I don't know what. I mean, the other
We just
building's
have to
been
move the
empty.
crosswalk.
Yeah, the other building's been empty for a long time. It used to be a restaurant,
Right.
but that would
And
be
that
a spot.
crosswalk is pretty much there because it's actually there's a lot of people that park in this lot for the T.
Yeah.
And where the Regal building is, this lot here, not as many as before, but parking for the T used to be able to, not as heavy as it was. I see pre-COVID, there was a lot more people that parked over there.
Right, because the T lot would
And the
fill.
same-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a T-lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
they
don't think it does.
Now they don't even fill up the T lot.
Well, you guys
I
have
see.
station an officer there.
We
in the
had a
morning
guy
to help
there
the
crossing
cross
people there.
on the morning.
Really?
and night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe we could shift it.
Shift that. Maybe shift that. I think this. Oh yeah. This is the pink. This is the driveway.
Yeah, but
opening
if
for
you-
the other one.
if you-
Yeah, so we have to shift somewhere.
Could you put it right next to the tracks, like this one?
No.
Probably. I don't
close.
think you want it too close
Yeah,
to the
too
track.
close
Yeah.
to the
Just
track.
like, yeah, as far as the track, yeah, we do have to coordinate with
That's probably the
WTA,
gate.
see what requirement they have. They gotta have like some kind of like a clear zone.
I'm
within the
wondering
track, so,
about this,
Yeah.
The entrance where the
or
what's that?
or this.
Oh,
Could
that's the
you
entrance to the
angle
T.
it
Yes, yeah.
and then try to extend the parking shoulder back to here?
Mm-hmm.
Could you do parking here to here, Benny?
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
I
definitely.
always said that
We have to
'cause
look at
the
see if there's-
sidewalk.
see
The
how much we
sidewalk
can
for
do.
the T comes right out to that sidewalk. There's a sidewalk that goes right out to our sidewalk by the T.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like right up against the gate.
Yeah, it's on this
The other
side of
thing
the
is that
gate.
You're
Yeah,
narrowing the road over here.
Mm-hmm.
Go shift.
Yeah. I mean, we have to kind of take a look and see what we can
Yeah.
do in there. So, I mean, yeah.
So they have their own parking lot over here.
I mean,
so they're all
this-
set.
There's like no cars that come out of this road.
Yeah, but if
This
they
is-
do the MBTA and they build the 254 units,
yeah,
they're going to
right.
be
That's
coming
gonna
in
be-
out
that'll
of
be
that.
busy.
They'll be going
Are
to
you
be
where?
out of here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, they're putting
Is that going to screw up all the work you got being done in that intersection?
What's the plan? What is the what are they proposing?
Because all that, the MBTA stuff.
At the
So
other
yeah,
areas,
people that own the lot at the end of that street are looking to build anywhere from 154 to 254 condo units.
Oh wow!
And right now, that's because industrial ways are privately owned. Did have to come in, and that's a town-owned road. They'd be coming in and out of that.
Interesting. So I wonder what they would do with that road because it looks pretty narrow.
Yeah.
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
they have to widen it and all kinds. Yeah, yeah.
Where are
They'd have
they?
to buy
Yeah,
everything
this is
down
pretty-
that,
yeah.
that whole end. of
Where are
front,
they
the
now in the
fields, everything.
process?
To
I
widen
mean,
it.
they're in the process. I
Are
don't
they
know
just
how far
they just
are,
talking
but
about it? Have they done a traffic study yet? Have they?
not
No,
yet.
into the-
They're still trying to find. But I'm just looking in the future. You're going to do all this nice work, and then all of a sudden they want to kind of.
But I don't
Well,
think it would
rip
affect
it up.
anything out on South Ave. That's just on Park
Right.
Street.
Yeah.
But if this
Well, If
widens,
that widens,
Oh, the
Now-
one
now
yeah,
it
that would be-
changes.
yeah,
that would be good
change
to
down.
know.
we're trying to squeeze a crosswalk on this corner,
Yeah.
and now this
fit it?
corner is going to.
Trying to get
The right of way is tiny. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Right of way is
they're going to
tiny.
do a taking?
They gotta have do some taking.
They've got no right of way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a gravel parking lot down here now.
Yeah.
know,
That
they
might
don't
be part
own
of
it.
this parcel. I
It's
don't
flooded.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it
Well,
out there.
yeah.
I'm throwing it out
The
there.
river's
thought
right
is
there.
that
Yeah.
that could happen.
It could,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any contact info? I mean, that we could.
I could, I
don't
can
know
get.
what-
I'll
Yeah,
give
I mean-
it to Bruce and
Yeah.
have him
Yeah, you
forward
can
it to you
do
and
that. Yeah.
stuff.
That'd be
Maybe
helpful,
get
yeah.
a hold
building,
of
the
them.
building down here, this
I-
building here,
What is
gets,
it?
gets hit by the river when it gets overflowed.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the.
There's a real possibility that to
yeah.
satisfy
I'll get
that
the information.
housing.
And I'll send it over.
Some
Maybe
people right there where we just
Yeah.
create that
They're really
property
trying to
for
do
Tesla.
it.
Yeah.
So
I guess honestly, the
That'd be
first
nice.
thing
That to
the
a
first thing I
developer,
think about when
somebody's gonna
you
do
say
it.
that is mitigation to the town, because if we're basically fixing their front door almost, well, their access point, I wonder if they could help you financially with some of the efforts that you're putting in here. I don't know, just a thought. State will handle the construction of whatever. I mean, if you did any betterments in this area that were not covered by the TIP project, then I don't know. Just a thought. You could include it in this project and as non-participating.
Right, and have
Have
as a
them-
developer is that serious, is that far along?
Yeah, I mean, Because in theory, if they're building a mixed use development, the intent here, especially for MBTA, right? The intent here is that people are going to walk and bike from where they live to get to the train station. It's the whole point of the MBTA Communities Act there, and so they need. This is a big part of them getting there, right? This is so. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, or maybe we can do some like a street lighting in there along the corridor and within this downtown area, and all those ornamental street lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any of that, right?
Yeah, I don't think
We're not doing any of that.
At this point, we don't.
Oh yeah,
have it
at this point we don't
included,
have it in there.
But
so
that would be
something
like
we can-
a detail that
Yeah.
could be added.
yeah, it is like a downtown
Would
area.
this-
So.
Would they fund that, like a detail like that?
What's the street lighting like now?
I think if it's
Could we?
That's there now.
Yeah.
We get some
Cobra
cool lights
heads?
and it's not bright enough down
Yeah.
there.
It's all Cobra head though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because why not? Before the master only to do like those steel copper head. Now they can do the ornamental light too.
We own it.
Definitely we can talk to them and
We
see.
own the light.
We own
We own the lights, yeah.
Yeah, if we locate it,
Every
It
other
would
level.
have to. It
Yeah,
would have to be in for safety reasons,
Yeah.
pedestrian and bike safety.
yeah. So that's
That
what this
you're-
is like
you're
a downtown
eliminating-
area.
right.
You might be able to sell that.
Or maybe it's a way if, whether it's this Pond Street or if they're going to do something on the other side of the station that you can light the business district. And I'll say business district from
Yeah.
Franklin
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Colebrook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where
Agreed.
people are going to be coming from these other developments.
Walking commuters coming home at night, right?
Right.
From
commuter,
Boston, wherever,
so
from
that
Commuter Rail
probably might be
and
able
going
to
home, they have to get
sell that.
across the street. You want to make it safe for them, right? So,
Yeah.
We don't need all the way down to Plymouth.
Right.
But, like I said,
Right.
that business block or a couple blocks.
Oh yeah, definitely a couple blocks. I don't think it'll get
and
extend all
honestly,
the way
that
down
would
to-
that would even further heighten the awareness from between the raised tables too, right? That area would really be pronounced as a
It
special
was
area.
years and years
Slow
ago,
down.
but the guy was killed at Rayner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh okay.
Way
Jim
back.
McGrath?
Yeah.
Yeah, a woman. Should be
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that night?
The Sunday got on. Couldn't see.
Hardware store was over there.
Cut.
So the complete streets, while we're here, we're looking to do a complete streets, pursue complete streets funding
Yep.
to do a sidewalk from here, and I think up to $500,000 worth of work. And
$500,000,
yeah.
when we did the complete streets priority plan, that sidewalk was in there. So
Yeah.
those estimates are they 8 years old? They're kind of old, but
I forget what year we did those.
when as old as we thought.
That one's.
But anyway,
Yeah,
we're
it's been
going
a
to
while,
pursue
yeah.
funding. That would probably be quicker than this funding.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
sidewalk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
in today's money, we were thinking it might get us as far as like Indian Plan, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking into. Yeah, I have to do get this. Yeah.
Yeah, you could the applications are due May 1st.
Yeah.
For that project, and then you'd probably hear a few months later. I mean, Mass DOT says 3 months. It'll be more than that, but and then the funds would be available shortly thereafter to construct something like that. If you assuming you get the funds, you are eligible for those funds, right? As far as there's a 3-year buffer that you have to wait between rounds of complete streets funding. So you guys are all set on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus the TIP project, which is like $1 gazillion, as you know, that's TIP is a 5-year program.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were talking that
2030.
2030 would be
Yeah.
actually if we got everything and we
Yeah,
start
it's probably,
construction.
yeah, probably it's like 30 is
Yeah.
2030 for 2 years construction.
Bruce, you won't even be here.
I know.
wait, what? Wait, whoa!
I'll be on the planet. Hopefully, I just won't be.
He'll be fishing, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and I'll be with him.
Oh.
I'll be close. I might,
Jealous.
I might be.
So, what else? I believe those are the highlights. I think the thing that we really need to maybe talk about are next steps and public engagement in particular. So, we would like to know if you would like to have a public meeting to kind of explain the project, gain support, gain additional support, I should say, so that any of the abutters have the chance to understand what the project's all about, what it means to them, the great benefits it will provide. And so ultimately, you don't have to do a public meeting going to the TIP process until you get to the 25% public hearing. So again, we're in the pre-25% phase. We submit it, we get comments, we address the comments, we advance the design to the 25% phase. We submit the 25%, they review it, we get comments, we incorporate the major ones, and then we have the Mass DOT public 25% hearing. This is when Mass DOT is there running the show, and they are overseeing everything that's going on, and they're listening to everything and whatever. Typically, at that point, you kind of want your public already in tune on what's going on, and that people are, in general, supporting the project. And you'll always have a couple of people who, every project's different, but sometimes you'll have a person or two that will be, no matter what you do, they're...
Oh, we know the person.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Same one.
Every town has
Every town has one, yeah.
So, but aside from them, if we did a public outreach, we'd hopefully address most of the confusion and questions. And so by the time we get to 25% public hearing, it's all
Of course.
smooth sailing.
We've been hit hard the last year with this, with the school.
Oh, yeah.
We got another contribution we have to give to the regional.
Yeah.
We get
VOTEC.
them VOTEC, yeah.
But the town's not paying for this.
No,
Right,
I'm
but
just
yeah,
saying,
you
just sticker shock in general.
Yeah, people.
To go just a little
Taxpayer
bit down,
money.
just a little bit down the road, it probably wouldn't be a worse idea.
Yeah.
Just get past some of that
Let
stuff.
them
So
forget a
we're,
little.
Don't go any further than this.
I mean, the town,
That's a good point.
this board, the
Just
board
here
of selectmen,
right
town meeting has all financially supported this
It's the end of this year, maybe.
for over $500,000 already, I believe. So
Not more.
to stop now.
No, yeah.
No.
Saying
We're just
This guy can
the timing,
sell it.
the timing of the public meeting.
Well, maybe tell me.
What'd you say? You can never sell it?
No, he
What is your
help sell us on this because he's going to gain
experience?
yeah.
Obviously, we have to do the one at 25%. Do towns typically do?
After the 25.
Do they typically do the pre, or do they just do kind of like
Typically.
what we've done? Like you guys have come up to selectmen's meeting,
Yeah.
which are televised to the few people that
Yeah.
it makes the paper. It
Right. That's another option. I mean, we could do another one of those. We could go to the selectmen and do an updated presentation reminding them on what the project is, its many merits, but then getting into, the updates are, without getting into the weeds, going from this to this isn't much different, so I think the biggest benefit is for people to kind of ask questions and, I live here, what will that mean for me? And kind of and usually it's, especially a project like this, it doesn't feel very controversial, from a standpoint that we are missing all of your stone walls, we're missing all of, it's just, we're using the real estate a little bit better than it was before. And by the way, you're not paying for it. You're paying for the design. Yes, you're paying for the design. But this all these betterments are being paid for by the state. So it could be really transformative and really provide a good setting for economic redevelopment in this area in particular. So.
Do you, flyer all the abutters, or do we just do hey, we're having a meeting about this? Just, it's like anything.
Right.
You put up the general, we're having a meeting, and, one or two people showed up. We did a couple with
and then
the
later on,
building,
people complain that they were never
You
notified.
can't stop that.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
right.
But I didn't know to what level.
Can't get a quorum.
You could,
yeah.
you could online. You could do online notices. Of course, how many people are checking online to see if there's a meeting on this? Right, not many. social media, I don't like for this kind of thing because then people start talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It just open.
goes
Yeah,
tangent.
it just goes.
Everybody's an
it
engineer.
goes right or left depending.
Yeah, and not even talking about the same thing. You know.
Everybody's
Yeah.
an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, I
So it's what's,
I hear you as far as the timing and the different things going on in town could be a problem. I think the benefit here is that it's a long process, and we're really early in the process. I mean, we're at the pre-25% phase, so we just want to. My only hesitation with pushing it off too far is that we're going to continue designing this, and the more detail we add, the more fixed we are, so that if there is something that somebody wants us to change or tweak, it'd be best to know sooner rather than later. I guess the other thing is, unless you didn't do the public outreach at all and just waited until the 25% public hearing after we submitted the 25, after we submitted the 20, I'm sorry, pre-25 and the 25, could do that. Nobody's requiring you to do it. Is it advisable? I've never done it that way where you didn't have a public meeting to just, a lot of times people, if they feel as if they've been excluded from the process, no matter what you show them, they're going to hate it. So it's sometimes if they feel like they've been heard, what we could also do is we could kind of present this in very general terms just to introduce it to the public without showing all the detail, but kind of at a high level.
What's the time frame that you're thinking to have this pre-25? Is it in the next 2 months or is it summer, fall?
Either or.
Okay, well, I guess
I just
I know you're going to keep designing, but
I would I mean either or, whether it be next 2 to 3 months or the summer. I don't know if I would wait until the fall. The fall feels kind of late.
Yeah,
Because
fall maybe late. Yeah, because what we do is like once we submit the P25 to MassDOT, so people
When is
the
that?
alignment.
What's the schedule on the P25?
Yeah, I think this is kind of what we have for the P25. So probably we are thinking to submit a P25 to MassDOT
September.
about end of August kind of stuff.
Okay,
so
yeah.
that MassDOT
wanna do
will
something in the next
approve
couple
the
months.
alignments
Next
of
couple
the
months.
cross section of the roadway. So once that, then at 25, then we just adding more detail to the 25 to the P25. So that's why we want to do it like from between 25, like before the P25. So at least if anything, the people would make some changes, we can provide it in there. So we don't want to have everything approved by master for the cross sections and then say, oh, this is already done, be approved by master, nothing's going to change, except for some minor details. But yeah.
You know what we could do is if you wanted to do a meeting, that is, we could do a like a PowerPoint presentation talking about the merits of the project. That would be somewhat brief, and then we could set ourselves up, instead of doing a Q&A, we can set ourselves up in maybe a couple different couple different tables and talk one-on-one with people. Usually when you talk one-on-one, people are more receptive. What we would do is we could show this plan, but instead of having hard lines, we would just have it colored without the hard lines. So we're very early. Like sometimes people see the lines, they're like, oh, it looks like it's ready to be built tomorrow. No,
Like this?
we don't want to give that impression. So if we merely have it shadowed in on this plan, we can, which house are you? Oh yeah, your wall is back here. We're not even near that thing,
Yeah.
oh, great.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
Are we talking about the design fees? How much is that again?
So which stage?
Hey.
Right now we're at the pre-25 stage, and the combination of the pre-25 and the 25%. Up until a couple of years ago, there was no pre-25; it was just a 25.
Right.
So that's why I still lump them together mentally. So those submissions make up a big chunk of your budget, about half, 50% of your total budget. And as the submissions go on, it gets smaller. So like the 75% is maybe, if pre-25, 25 is 50%, 75% is 25% of the budget. 100% is like 15%, and then 10%. So it just gets smaller and smaller. So the next phase for the 25% is, what did you say, 400?
416.
For about 416,000.
Okay.
What that includes is everything soup to nuts, including the functional design report, the grading for the 25% level,
Yeah.
the
The environmental checklist thing that you need to include it in the master, and also the payment design. We have to do some payment core in there.
cores.
So that one in there. And then also the public hearing.
Right, the 25% public hearing and its preparation is included in the 25%.
Yeah.
That still counts as the 25%.
Yeah, and then also before the public hearing, we will be meeting with the utility company on site to go through all utility pole location, like a rough location. This is what we're proposing it.
Yeah.
And then if any comment from the utility pole company, like Verizon, whoever own the pole, that they have the final say of where the pole should be and how many poles need to be relocated, and then we're just going to be incorporate those comments into the plan. So
And I will say that the just looking at the schedule, so we're talking about submitting pre-25% in September of this year. The 25% submission is not scheduled until April of 2027.
Excellent.
Oh, wow.
So I mean,
Year and a half.
it takes time.
Yeah,
So
it takes
it's-
time. Yeah.
it takes a lot of work, a lot of duration.
Some time. I mean, if you
Yeah.
propose this at May's meeting, this one here?
yeah, if we get this one, it won't.
No, we wouldn't go. We wouldn't go to town meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is not something we do at town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus it could, like I
but I
said,
think-
the timeline can kind of phase it
Yeah,
out.
because it's not going to be advertised until like 2030. So we do have some time to like go
Yeah.
out. But that we want to keep the
Yeah.
momentum going.
Sure.
So we're going
Right.
to kind of once we close to finish one, then we have to have all the budget alignment for the next submission, next round. So we don't be like keep moving on the project.
Right.
So,
But your suggestion is we should have a public meeting before the pre-25 submission. If that submission's in September, then we do need to have a meeting in May.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Because yeah.
So
It's almost it's safer to do it that way because otherwise we're opening ourselves up to changes and redesign, and we don't want to do redesign, right?
So do we
The
go
best presentation would help if we have to do that.
before or after town meeting?
Well,
Why not?
so to be clear, we will be asking. Well, we do need to ask for funds at this town meeting,
Yes.
and we have a placeholder there.
Yep.
With just Mary Beth is
Yeah, for the next year.
Wait,
Yeah.
so that will carry us after July 1st.
Yep.
What we voted at last town meeting.
So maybe it's better after,
After the town meeting.
because at that point
I would say
we've already gotten whatever 3. I
Right.
think this will be the 3rd year that we've gone to town meeting asking for a meeting for design.
Yeah.
And you know, we've put that money aside, whether you know it came from some Chapter 90 or the $100,000 or wherever it comes from.
Yeah.
We've been able to fund it without.
Would there be a benefit to have something before town meeting to remind people about the project and its merits, or do you feel like people already know and they're going to rule in favor of it?
Or is it added?
Should I?
Sorry, just throwing it out there as a teaser.
I don't want to do at it. That's me
That was my
personally.
gut
Take
first,
too
but
long.
two-
I don't want to clog up town meeting.
but the audience is there.
I know.
I think I don't remember last year. I think it went through pretty easy.
It went through pretty easy.
I think there were a
You know,
couple
I
of
think it-
questions. Did you guys do a presentation? No, you just did selectmen. You didn't do
So,
town meeting.
Selectmen could
Yeah.
do.
I mean, I could get a sense from Mary Beth if, you know, when I give her the budget figure that's going up to town meeting, maybe from her board, the Board of Selectmen, if they want another update just similar to this. I mean, they're going to be, it's kind of what they've already seen, but just with the new budget figure, they may say, look at him come in just so, you know, and then maybe some people will see it on TV or maybe some people will see it at the.
Right, but we're talking not specific, but really concentrating on the people that it's going to affect.
Right.
Right.
And
Exactly.
That would be
you know, if the article's coming up at May, I'd say maybe we go after
right.
the end of May. Obviously, you want to do it before summertime because you definitely won't get anybody in summertime.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something towards the end of May. I don't know, but I'm also saying, well, do you go before? We don't know what town meeting's going to do.
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on.
We got a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on,
A lot of
and
stuff
the
going on.
town may just be
Oh,
people with pitchforks and
could be the straw.
torches, or it could be,
Wow.
Yeah.
rainbows and
Great.
and unicorns.
I'm used to them.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
That broke the camel's back.
They're just aiming for anything.
So go
I
go to town meeting with a figure.
And what figure
article.
is that?
Yeah.
But
We're
that's
gonna
what
get that.
You're here to tell us.
Well,
what we
well,
need to keep
I get my there's so it wouldn't be the entire 25% design, right? Because in theory, this is 2025.
right.
You got town meeting 2026.
Mm-hmm.
You could do half and half, right?
Yeah, we can do half and half.
It's I mean I think
or
last
is
year
it better to do it all at
saying
once
all
and
at
not
once.
go back
You're
next year?
saying 208? So
Last year-
416?
Yeah.
last
So
year
honestly,
we tried to
I
do 2
think-
years.
Yeah, that might work better.
I think we split
Right
it.
now, because I think 416 will break the camel's back.
Yeah, sure. So what we would want to do is we would want
I'm
to
just right?
find a
Well, no,
line
even last year. Remember the article
plus
you
or minus that and find out what a break point
originally
would
put up
be.
last year.
I
We
think
put up
Split the scope in
for
half.
last year and this year. Remember? And FinCom asked us to
we can
split it. Or FinCom.
It's not
I think that would be
I think if-
even though
think
we
we
get
did
it
the same.
done earlier, I don't think.
I think if we
it's not going to be
split
constructed earlier. It's
split
not gonna
that
be
for
done again, so
16,
yeah.
and ask for half of it at this year's the May town meeting. It's definitely. I think Mary Beth is expecting something around there anyway, or
Yeah.
maybe a little more, but
Couple
this would be
hundred.
better.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah.
I definitely
We
do.
can-
And we usually take away from. We I don't know. Hopefully we'll get it this year.
Yeah.
The last few years we've been lucky that we get $100,000 for streets and 75 for sidewalks.
Yeah.
Like just its own.
Yep.
So this year,
In addition to Chapter 90, the town has
Yeah.
been like 5 or 6 years ago we started. So that's where we've been taking some of this. We take a little bit,
Yeah.
from those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit bad too because the second half will be once we submitted the 25 P25, so we got some comments from MassDOT and see if anything that they wanted to be because right now MassDOT what they really into is what they call subsurface utility engineering because we are digging up the road. They want to scan the entire road to make sure the underground utility is no conflicts. So that
Yes.
so then we need to have
It's
we have
like-
to have a sub to
yeah.
come in and just like
it's
pretty much to scan the entire project and then mark it up on the road so we can see what the utility,
Grid.
national grid, electric,
yeah.
everything. Yeah, so they have to figure out everything's in there.
Probably
So
don't have too much.
sometimes MassDOT requires it, sometimes MassDOT doesn't require it, but they will tell us at the P25%. So you something like that, then we can add it to the second part of the fund fee. So we don't have to ask for additional if you do at once. So
I think if we're going to do that, we do the article
yeah.
and then maybe we do this public meeting
Yeah.
after.
Oh, yeah.
Shortly after. Like I said, I'd want to do
I
it
think half
before.
would be
Yeah,
going through.
because once they get a half, how they'll
Yeah,
go
as long
to the
as it
second
goes
half.
through, then we
do informational half.
Yeah.
Yeah, we better go get the first half, and then the second half should be much easier because they already spent half of the money in there. So
yeah.
Look, I mean,
You
we've
got
already
Pond Street
spent
now, you gotta see
$400,000 or
if-
$500,000
Top
that we've
with
already
that.
spent.
oh, yeah.
What's
It
that?
has a major effect on Pond Street coming up, right?
Oh, if
Yeah.
And with the new development,
that's-
that might throw a little bit.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Dave said
I
he's
don't
gonna find
I
out.
don't think it will have a major impact because honestly, if that project is we're not
Never know.
building, we're not constructing until 2030. So by then,
Yeah.
they probably will have some sort of plan and know what they're doing. And if they don't, then it's on them to fix it anyway. So,
Yes.
yeah.
but they're going to have I mean, it seems tight through here, right? And so
That road's
they've
gonna
got a
have to
few
come up.
hurdles.
That road's gonna have to come up.
And
Yeah.
it's awkward.
Right, bring it
It'll have
up.
to be raised.
Yeah.
It's gonna come up.
And the public way doesn't
Oh,
even get close to
It's a
where
pond.
the apartments would be. There's a
Yeah.
long corridor, a skinny corridor there with tracks on one side and the
Yeah.
pond on the other. And the public way stops like, what, maybe 100 yards,
Is that what it
200
is?
yards? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they put a gate up sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can't even drive from there to Essex.
Bruce, I want to know if you're gonna be plowing that.
I don't know. It's kind of like the Beulah Street one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Add the street lights. There's something you can have for the, like we said, the major traffic area here.
Yeah, I think so. And again, everything
That would
keeps
be nice.
changing. But like Benny said, as of recent, MassDOT has been a little bit willing to pay for street lighting.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I guess I don't know the exact rules. They don't know the exact rules because there are none. But I get depending depends on who you get and what mood they're in. But I don't think that they would be willing to pay top dollar for a really ornate, expensive fixture because street lighting. There's a big range there. But if we include something that was
We can
somewhat
propose in there and
reasonable-
just see what they say. Yeah. Because if you put a runabout, definitely required.
yeah, what we would do is
But this one, we can just essentially
if we could include it in the pre-25, better to ask
Better.
for forgiveness and permission, right?
Yeah.
And so if we stick it in there,
and-
and then let's not spend money on an electrical design.
Oh yeah,
'cause that's
just
a whole other
we
thing.
just go lay
Just
out
keep it
graphically
at
show it.
some show locations
and then
that's it.
stick in the line item and
Yeah.
then submit it and see what they say.
Yeah, see what they say.
and if the question is it comes up, it will be we need it. There's these uses.
People be safe, don't you?
You get
Yeah.
It's pedestrian safety.
That's it.
It's a downtown
So-
area.
I think it's
safety, lots of crosswalks. So.
It all comes down to the S word, safety.
basically,
Huh?
it's
Potential of more
existing
housing.
lighting in there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's lights on
We don't
the
ask
on
for
the
too
street
much.
poles.
Yes,
some of the big,
definitely.
Yeah.
City of Boston.
Yeah, I mean, there's the existing
What's
street
that?
pole. We
The
just
City of
upgrade
Boston
the
concrete
pole.
poles.
Yeah, right.
So it's a
Stick those
section.
in.
So I'm not talking about a lot. I mean, just like
No,
yeah, it's
not
not
that
to
much.
be
Small
like
area.
Crazy.
yeah. It's,
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys.
For the
Appreciate it.
Should we have some kind of like cheat sheet for, like, in case we're asked?
I think
That's all.
I think it came up last time, and Bruce got up and kind of just spoke to the.
Short and simple.
No, you. For some reason, you command.
simple.
People
Superintendent.
You're still gonna have that one lady up in the balcony.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
She's the one that wants the traffic island on School at Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
She complained about roosters. Remember the last article one time?
Yeah.
yeah, I think if it comes up,
Article 100.
Bruce will be able to explain it or tell you what it is. And I think last time we said, well, this is just another part of a project that's ongoing, and
Yeah.
When they hear the big number and how much we're going to get free,
Exactly.
it usually ends the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
what is?
Yeah.
It's only beneficial.
I know
It's gonna look
it's
awesome.
still a ways off, but what's the value, estimated value of the project?
15?
15, about
Yeah,
15 million.
15 mil?
Yeah.
50 or 15?
15.
15.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So we're going to get $15 million worth of improvements for.
Yeah.
It's not that expensive yet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, by the time
Whatever.
it's like 2030, the materials cost.
Sure. Maybe
It might be another,
Yeah, I know.
And some of the materials, some
Everybody in
not
that
just
area is
the big
gonna
stuff.
benefit.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but right now,
No,
yeah, right now it's about 15.
no green
yeah,
infrastructure.
around,
Oh,
so,
they're not pushing it
Driving
yet.
through there.
yeah. So we pay.
Please.
Yeah, we operate that.
You want the green
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, I was going to say,
Yeah.
Mass DOT, green. He asked about green infrastructure. They're not forcing that on us.
They're not forcing on
They're
green
not.
infrastructure. Yeah.
We do green infrastructure in like downtowns and stuff. I guess one might call this a quasi, but you have no room.
I mean, we can do something like.
I
I think the only thing is like something
yeah.
like this area.
Oh, actually, I take
I'm
it
doing-
back.
I'm doing-
You got this room and you got this room.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at even these.
Uh,
They turn these
yeah,
into
No,
rain
there's a ton of
gardens.
space.
rain
Yeah.
gardens.
There's a
and-
ton of space
This,
there.
over there, yeah,
I'll
over
show you
there
what
in
I'm
here,
doing
yeah.
on.
But that would
Boston.
be green space.
No,
That
but this
area
is
Yeah.
this is water collection.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
green space.
Yeah.
Like
Rain
I'm
garden.
setting curb, and I'm leaving 8-inch gaps between the curb to
Oh,
take the
really?
runoff from the roadway.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
yeah. Now, what project is that you're doing it for?
Cummins Highway for the city of Boston.
Oh, for City of Boston. Oh, okay. I was gonna say where. Yeah, no, that's
A road
that's big,
just like this.
That's
I mean,
big in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
houses,
Absolutely.
all residential, a little bit of commercial,
Yeah.
some business,
Yeah.
and
The
the
nor-
entire corridor is all green infrastructure.
Yeah, totally. And we have projects like that too. It depends on the community and really what their wants are. But like Newton, we do a lot of that there.
Yeah.
But for a tip project, typically it's not done that way. But
Fine.
never say never.
Yeah.
Could always change.
Definitely, we're adding one side of the sidewalk, so definitely we're adding like entire strip of the impervious
Impervious. We
area.
are increasing it.
So
Right,
I mean,
right.
we might-
You do have less-
Yeah, definitely we
So
can look
do
into
deep
it.
sump catch basins.
Yeah,
and
definitely
blah,
some
blah,
of
blah,
them. I
like-
mean,
But they're not doing
DEP
all the
definitely
retention areas, all
requirements before the summer.
Yeah.
we have all the soils and the stone and the
Yeah.
under drain,
yeah,
and all that
the structural
structural
soils
soil.
and the
Soils,
the cyber what the cells the one in Lexington, cyber cells. I forget. There's all sorts of
porous pavement.
porous pavement. Yeah, we've done that before. So, yeah, every location is different.
We don't want that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that industrial.
Not that Bruce will be here, but we don't want that.
You're right.
They'll be
So-
driving through.
So we'll take a look at the we'll kind of take a look at the scope, and we'll try to like find a reasonable point to kind of like throttle split it plus or minus towards the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
And then that should work. The other thing is that sometimes I will say, for the record, that sometimes getting projects done quicker and ahead of schedule might open you up to get on the tip sooner in case there's a gap. However, this project being $15 million,
Yeah. They're talking like 2 years of construction.
that's a big
so,
project.
yeah,
so I don't
probably-
think that would be a benefit here,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. So I'm just,
They seem to mention more than a couple times that this would be 2030.
Yeah, I think that's
Yes,
what they said. Like
2
it
years.
is between
Because of
the,
the size.
so
the size of it.
but
yeah.
it sounded like a bunch of things fell off their list.
Yeah, but they talk about like
So-
2 years of continued 2 years of project that will fell off the list. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
chance I mean, but yeah,
think we
never
should
say
be good.
never. But yeah.
Yeah. So
Utilities will change the whole look of that East End. So
I mean,
Oh
it's-
yeah.
I'll
definitely.
tell you, it really would be transformative. And then if you did want to do it as a local project to extend it further down abroad, whatever, you could totally do that.
Yep.
But it would be nice to have full control of that
Yeah.
intersection, not
Yeah.
have Big Brother telling you what to
Instead
do.
of start. Yeah.
so-
There was definitely, even though the short period.
There's a time and a
meeting-
place for every funding source, right? So,
Yeah, hold off on that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Extending, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, good seeing everyone.
Looks great.
Seeing you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I want
Still,
this.
you guys are likewise. You guys are still meeting.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we got a
You're
couple
not too late.
so I'll put
items to do.
I don't know if you need to send anything.
Yeah, why don't we do that? I want to
I can steal another Butterfinger.
Oh yeah, I forgot you like those. They might just in the bag. Always check the end bag. You always feel what. Is that the end? Is this the building update? Every day update around.
Hey, everybody saw it.
Oh yeah, you guys.
We'll make it official.
Okay.
Like anybody that can figure this thing out.
We're gonna have a nice office.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Nice
tell you about the
conference
office.
room, yeah.
Let me tell you about the office. We're gonna have
Nice conference room.
Nothing to hold on, all that.
a
So,
view of the salt and everything.
Yeah.
obviously, everyone saw the building, so I don't need to give you an update in the building.
Nope.
Hopefully, we're going to finish in July.
Yeah.
That's the current
Nice.
current date. All right, so we need to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining and litigation. An open meeting may have detrimental effect on the government's bargaining or litigating
Bye.
post position.
You can come back.
So I need a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Second
Roll call vote. Mark? Yeah.
Yes.
Dave? Joe?
Yay.
Ken?
Ken, yes.
I'm yes. All right, we are in executive session. We only will return to adjourn.
I was just gonna say, what do you?
All right, so we're back in regular session. Next meeting will be April 9th.
April 9th, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Yeah.
So it's, I should just set up this automatically.
I tried doing that, but
Yeah,
it somehow
yeah.
got off, so I haven't read.
Boop. April 9th.
Yeah, you can make it recurring if you want.
I don't.
I had, but got the building department on the 14th. So is it 9th?
I can make a motion.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.